Hi guys, welcome back to another show of the Great Minds. Today I'm with Andile Dube, who is an entrepreneur. So we're going to go through his story as we've been doing with the past guest. So hi Andile,
Hello, how are you?
good on yourself.
I'm good.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be able to share your stories with our audience. Why don't you introduce yourself to them?
Okay. Um, my name is Andile Dube, and I'm an entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur. And my background is I studied a BCom Economics and Econometrics degree at University of Johannesburg, and from there I worked for a corporate, and then I co-founded a property company called Big Grand Properties. Then moved from there, and I also co-founded a company called Cream, which heads up the Young Hustlar Initiative, which heads up the Young Hustler comic book, which is a comic book aimed at educating young people on entrepreneurship and business.
Oh, awesome. So you currently have two projects you're working on. So
Yes.
the property development
Yes.
and then the comic book.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. So just tell us your story before you got into all the entrepreneurship. How was it? Where did you grow? Where did you come from? You know, how was your family? Yeah.
Okay. I'm originally from KZN, from a very, very small town. It's called Stanga, where, for me personally, I felt like if I was going to become something, I need to get out of that place. So it was that kind of thing. And growing up, I have two siblings, older brother and a younger brother, and I come from a family of both my parents are teachers. They teach. My mom teaches primary. My dad used to teach secondary and in rural area schools. And yeah, that's kind of my background. And so I kind of moved here to Johannesburg to study. And as they say, it's a land of gold and opportunities. Came here to hustle. So
Also a rough area.
yeah, it's very,
Also a very rough area.
it is very, very rough. When you say it's rough, I'm kind of thinking of one of the stories. Like I've got mugged like 4 times since I've been here in Johannesburg, and it's different areas, different times of my life. But it's what it is. Johannesburg is that.
Yeah. But for me, it's not even just a matter of being marked. It's just even a matter of competition. Like everything that you're doing in Johannesburg is competition. Whether it's school related, whether it's business related, it's always about someone trying to be ahead of you. Would you agree with that?
I think it's like that for every place. I think there's healthy competition and there's bad competition. Healthy competition I encourage. Through healthy competition is when we help each other.
Yeah.
But we at the same time we are going after the same thing. So it's kind of like it brings out the best in each of us. So if you don't have that healthy competition, you would be stagnant, and there would be no innovation, there would be no growth. You constantly be sitting with one product and there's nothing happening.
Yes. Yeah. Just to come along with what you're saying is, I believe that as an entrepreneur in today's time, we have to really start practicing a lot of healthy competition, because instead of always focusing on money, we need to focus on how we grow each other. Because for me, as long as we grow each other, everyone will be happy in the pool. Because I always believe that there's enough for everyone. You know, it's just about helping each other. Yeah.
Definitely.
So I'm sure when you came to Joburg, you came to study at college, or you did your primary here?
I came here for university.
Okay.
I did my primary and secondary in KZN, in Stanga.
So how was life in primary? Who were you in primary? Were you already aspiring yourself to be where you are right now?
Not really.
What was that
Honestly,
direction?
not really. In primary, apparently, so I've been told.
So you forgot?
No, it's not about you forgetting. It's like you have a different view on things, and then your teachers have a different view on things as well. So after I went and got my undergrad in university, I went back to Stanga, just visiting my primary school. and just to tell them this is me, this is what has happened, and to thank them, thank the teachers.
Yes.
And then one of the teachers said some darn thing. She was like, you know, when you were younger, you were so dumb, like you were so stupid. I'm like, me? Are you sure it was me? Like for me, it was like an eye opener. I'm like, no, it couldn't be.
It couldn't be you.
For me, in my mind, I always thought I was smart.
The
When I was the
sharpest
sharpest in class. I used to get like spelling test. I used to get like 10 out of 10, 8, 9 out of 10, something like that. So it was just an eye opener. I was like, no, you must have mistaken me. And maybe you saw somebody
Someone
who
else.
looks like me. And something. So it was like that. And then I think the transition into entrepreneurship happened for me when I went to high school.
Okay.
When I was in high school, I started like selling sweets.
Okay.
Those small.
But what
things.
pushed you to start selling sweets? Was it
I think-
financial pressure or?
I think it's financial pressure from my side in that you know, as a kid you want stuff.
Yes.
You want those brands, you want that, and sometimes your parents are not in a position to buy you those things. So then you think to yourself, okay, I want maybe a Nike shoe or whatever brand it is, and you decide. Then I made that kind of decision that since my parents cannot buy it for me at that point in time, why don't I save up whatever I can and then start selling sweets. I started with the sweets.
Yes.
Then I moved on to selling lollipops. It was your getters. I don't know if you
Yes.
still have them.
Yeah.
The getters, and then I moved from there selling chocolates. And from the money that I raised from selling sweets, I was able to buy myself one of my first sneaker. I can still remember it. It was I'll tell you now, Power. I don't know if they still have it, the Power sneaker. So I bought that Power sneaker, and I think it was the coolest thing for me at that time. And so I did that, and we branched out with my brother and I. We wanted to start a spaza in our community.
So starting from you wanting to have your own things and deciding to sell sweets, now your mind didn't just stop by there. You said, no, how can I expand this? How can I probably have more sneakers in my room?
Exactly. So then my brother and I wanted to start a spaza. Didn't work out very well because we didn't do the research properly.
Yes.
We had bought all the containers, like those containers where you put the food in.
The food in, yes.
So we had bought all of them, but we didn't have a market because our community wouldn't accommodate the spaza in
Yes.
the community. So that was a problem because we had bought all the equipment. That was a learning curve for us. We went on.
So where did you get the money?
It's money that we raised from selling.
Oh my
It's been selling the sweets, selling that, doing some odd jobs there and there, and
So
collecting money.
pure hustling.
It's pure hustling and saving up and putting money together. And yeah, we went and did that. We tried doing starting a clothing label where we make ties. Like we designed ourselves and we went to a dressmaker and they would sew it for us.
That was when was that?
It was still in primary. No, in high school.
In high school.
Yeah, it was in high school.
So you were quite young, probably you were 14 or...
14, 15.
Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, we tried that, didn't work out. We had approached a local retailer to come and stock our product. Didn't work out, it was not up to scratch, but it was okay. For us it was okay, but it was a learning curve again. Then left that, then graduated, got my matric, then went to varsity. At varsity level, didn't start anything major. I wanted to start an investment bank.
Okay.
It was a crazy idea at the
But
time.
who told you about? I don't know. Did you have someone at college that gave you that referral about investment banking, or what motivated you?
It's kind of like it was the exposure to it because when you were about to graduate, there's all these companies come to university, and after that they tell you about what opportunities are out there.
You mean
come and
secondary school?
No, university.
Okay,
University.
beginning. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, before.
Yeah. So they tell you it's like I don't know. It's
Induction.
Not induction, career day or something.
Okay, career day.
expo type of things. So they have them at varsity. So I attended one of them, and I got introduced to this whole investment banking thing, and I was like, this is quite cool. And I started thinking. I asked one of the people, so how does this investment banking thing work? And then they started explaining to me that this happens and this happens and this happens. I'm like, I could actually start a bank out of this thing, my own investment bank. And I went in and registered the company at CIPC, and it was great.
That was your first year?
Yeah.
Still in first year?
Yeah. So we registered the company, and it was great. I was excited. I was like, when you register the company, you're like,
of course.
yeah, I just
Of
registered my
course,
company.
of course.
I'm now the CEO. I'm gonna make this thing happen. And then I got the privilege to meet one of the not founders, but the chief operating officers of one of the investment bank, and then the whole thing fell apart when he started speaking to them, because they then brought reality to
the question.
In that the person told me that in order to start an investment bank, you need sums of money. That's the first part, so that you get the license. Without the license, you cannot operate. Then the whole thing collapsed.
You were shattered.
It was like,
oh my word!
Everything is gone. Then left that idea. Then worked for a corporate for a couple of
Were you doing
years.
part-time, or
No,
it was after graduating?
After graduating.
Okay.
I went worked for corporate for about 2 years. It was the worst job ever. I hated the company.
You hated the company, or you as a person didn't feel
I
right?
hated the company. I hated my manager. So it was a mixed bag. When you go to these companies where it's like every time you enter the building, your aura, your energy just goes down. You're like, shut it. Can I just leave?
Yeah.
So it was one of those experiences. So I did that for 2 years. Then I co-founded the property company. That was the first running successful business that we started, the property company.
So I have a lot of friends that are in corporate, and there's one problem. They all want to be entrepreneurs, but they have one problem: that transition. Like, how do I leave my comfortable job and start a business? And then have to put all my monthly salary aside. How did you play with it? How did you manage with it?
Without becoming, I always say this. I give it advice to my corporate friends, and I say that every person who works in corporate has to have a side chick.
Yes.
Side chick is your side business, the business that you are running on the side. So for you to transition from being in corporate to starting to the business, you have to kind of when you're in corporate, you're running this business on the side, and such that when the side business has
traction.
Yeah, it's getting traction and it has enough money, is making enough money for you to pay you off, then you can jump. But I didn't do that. I didn't do that because of the fact that I saw that I was young. I was like, you know what, I'm young.
What is the worst that can happen?
Exactly. What is the worst that can happen? And whatever happens, I'll go back to the corporate world if things have to happen. And by the grace of God, things then worked out well. And so I'm a kind of person who takes risk. I take lots of risk. I'm the kind of person who like, let me just jump. Before I left the corporate world, for me to make my decision, I actually went bungee jumping at the Soweto Towers. I was like, should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? Then one morning I'm like, let me go bungee jumping. And I jumped. And I said, you know what? If I can do this, what can I do the other thing? And I just did. Okay, now it's time for me to resign. I handed my resignation. It was cool. And I had listened to an interview by Steve Jobs, 2005, I think 2005 commencement speech, where he talks about how he says you have to be foolish, stay foolish, and stay hungry.
Yes.
It's for me it's one of those inspirational videos I've ever watched. So that's kind of made me make my decision. You know what? As much as I'm sitting in this moment and I don't know what the future may hold for me, but unless I do something, then I don't have a hold on the future.
Yes.
So that's what I did.
Yeah, I think many people just stay dreaming and they never act on it. And at the end of the day, they keep on blaming others. Like, oh, this didn't work probably because of my parents, and So when you transited, I'm sure business was not that great at the beginning. I'm sure there was a lot of difficult moments and days. Can you just take us through those days, if you remember?
I think one of the most difficult moments is you're moving from a situation where I was earning like, give or take, 20K a month from my corporate world, to a situation where you've got zero income. on a month-to-month basis.
And were you married already?
No, I was
or-
not. I was not married, and I'm still not married
Okay.
yet. So to zero income, and when you were earning a 20,000 rand salary, you had a lifestyle.
Yes.
You could go to the shopping malls, and you had an account. You get take stuff in accounts. You could go out, eat with friends, and all. Then you have to start adjusting to this life, where you have nothing, and you have to try and survive on a month-to-month basis, to such that you, for a couple of months, I think it was a good 6 months or so, there was no money coming in, just zero,
Wow.
like zero. Like
Were you scared?
it
Were
is
you
a scary
thinking
feeling.
twice?
You know, it's a scary feeling, but you have the belief in you that this thing is going to work out.
Yeah.
As long as you have the belief in you and you have no doubt in your body, it's kind of, I wouldn't say it makes life a little bit better that you don't doubt this thing. This thing is going to work. And yeah, it was that scary. So I had convinced my parents that, Ma, this is the situation. Can you just on a month-to-month basis give me some pocket money to push me through the months? And for her, she was like, why are you, she first asked me, why did you quit your job in the first place? And I'm like, you know what, this is a situation, this is not for me, type of situation. But she understood. So she has, for me personally, I think she has been one of those support structures that I needed. Without her, I wouldn't be this far.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So, because I know as well, even in the business, cold calling is a big problem. And now you're walking in people's door. What was the story there? I mean, did you receive a bucket of water on your face or?
No. It is scary going knocking door to door. It becomes even more scary when you enter the wrong neighborhood and you're not from this area. And I was in one of those neighborhoods where properties in the area is hijacked, like completely hijacked from one corner to the next. It's hijacked properties. So when I say hijacked, I mean there's no owner.
Yes.
People are squatting in the property, so they've taken over. Somebody is a landlord, but he's an illegal landlord. So you're going inside the area, you're knocking, the place is just dark. You're like, shut the door. What did I get myself into? And now you have to kind of tell your story that you came here for business, you like to help them manage the property, but you kind of see shady people coming out of the property. You're a bit scared, you're like, shepherd, you know, something might happen here. But yeah, it's fear, it's always there, but you have to overcome it. Otherwise, nothing would happen. If we hadn't done that, if I hadn't done, or we haven't done that, gone through that episode, maybe things wouldn't have.
You never learn as well.
Yeah, you never learn, and yeah, it was a huge learning curve for me, and it kind of, that's when you understand how far you can go as a person, or how far you would go for your business or for whatever thing that you believe in.
So it takes a gut. You really have to have a gut.
Definitely.
And what took you to the second business? Why did you decide to start the comic book?
I registered the business, this cream, at the same time where I was co-founding this one.
Okay.
So it was registered at the same time, kind of the same month, kind of. So I was doing the property full time, doing this part time. So there it was a case of we were sitting with a huge unemployment problem with young people in South Africa. And I always I felt that entrepreneurship could be one of the
driving force of the economy.
Yes, a driving force of the economy. However, it's poorly taught in schools.
Yes.
That's my personal opinion.
True.
It's poorly taught in schools. They teach you the theory, they don't teach you the practicality. That's one. And also, where it's taught, they stick to just the one component.
Yes.
Like they teach you about cake sale. You can't be doing cake sale when you are in matric or whatever. That's for primary. I can teach cake sale in primary school, and then you have to move away from that ideology. That's the other one. The other part is that people are not exposed. Certain people are not exposed to what is entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So we decided then through this comic book we want to raise awareness, and we want to expose young people to entrepreneurship. We want to teach them so that they can learn what is this entrepreneurship thing. So that when they make a decision and decide, you know what, I'm going to go the entrepreneurship route, they kind of know what it's like. So the story, the comic book kind of is made up of different characters, all of them coming from different social backgrounds, economically, and all of them have tough, challenging obstacles in front of them, and each one of them overcomes them. So we kind of want to inspire them.
So I think let's just see if we can also do the promotion of your book. So the name of the book is Young Hustler, and where can people get it?
People can get it on our website. It's www.younghustler, hustler spelled HUSTLA,
Okay.
and .co.za, and they can also check it out on our Facebook page. It's Young Hustlar Initiative. Again, hustler spelled HUSTLA.
I think we'll put the link down
Okay, cool.
down the description. I really like it, and I believe that great entrepreneurs are those that are willing to empower other entrepreneurs. So I really love the idea, because you cannot. I always say you cannot be in the jungle alone. You need to have other people to help you. Even if it's competition, someone doing the same thing as you. I always believe that good companies survive because they take care of their customers. So you shouldn't be afraid of competition as long as you know how to take care of your customers.
Definitely.
So that's quite interesting. So what is the way forward from here? I mean, as an entrepreneur, what is the way forward?
For us,
Still hustling.
We're still hustling every day. For us is to roll out this comic book nationally,
Yes.
and roll out our comic strips as well nationally. Once we've rolled it out properly, we want to translate it to other languages, maybe Zulu, Xhosa, and every other language in South Africa. And we want to get in, because over and above this, we're currently having workshops. So we want to get to schools, partner with schools, where we have entrepreneurship classes and on the Saturdays for those various schools. And once we get that right, we want to expand to the rest of Africa, and keep on telling the entrepreneurship story and changing the African narrative.
So what? Just before we conclude, what was your darkest moment? Is there any moment that you were in and you felt like, oh my word, I'm going to give up because it's so bad? Do you have that moment where you're looking at your bank account and you want to buy food?
There's definitely those moments. There's definitely those moments where, again, it's for me. It has been one of the support structures that have helped me a lot, because my friends also helped out into the mix. Because when we have those darkest moments, I think one of my darkest. I don't know if you watched the movie Social Network.
Yes, Social
When
Network.
it starts, it goes. There's a sound. It goes ding ding. It kind of plays in my head every time when we have those dark moments. I think my darkest moment has been when I had, there was one on this given day where I had run out of food. I didn't know what I was going to eat that day, and my clothes were torn. All of my clothes were torn. My shoes, my jeans, everything was torn. And I remember I was going to meet. You know how you meet those people who they say they call you up and they be like, you're a potential client. You come running to them and you're like. So I was going to meet one of those potential clients, and I'd spent everything. And you know when they say first impressions last,
yes.
So you kind of want to look presentable when you meet them. So I called up this one friend of mine. I'm like, dude, I'm in this situation. I don't have money to go to this meeting. I don't have clothes to go to go with this meeting. Can you help me out? And my friends reached out. One of them took me shopping. He was like, dude, I'll buy you clothes. You'll pay me back when you get the money.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, okay, cool. And the other one was like, there's the money. Go to the meeting. And it was that. So it was people putting stuff together. As I said, I have had, honestly speaking, I'll be lying if I ever said that. Otherwise, that I have had a good support structure in terms of family, friends. That's been very good.
That is awesome. That is really awesome. I know, as an entrepreneur, to have that support structure is usually very key and very important.
Definitely.
Because I usually say, to be an entrepreneur, it's a dark hole. It's a very scary dark hole, and if you don't have someone around you, it can be your family, girlfriend, or friends. If you don't have one person to really help you, it's really suicidal. I've heard cases of people killing themselves. Maybe they took too many money at the bank and now business is not going that well and they shoot themselves, But
It happens.
it's really bad. But I'm glad that at least you're having that kind of support. But thank you so much for your time. And we're going to just get to our Q&A section. So I'll ask you a series of questions and then you give me the best answer that you can. So what would be that piece of advice from your experience, from everything that you've gone through, that you give to a younger self, a younger you?
Start early. Start young. The reason why I say start early is because when you're younger, you can afford to make a lot of mistakes and learn from them quickly. When you get older, it becomes much more difficult to make those mistakes.
Especially when you're married.
When you're married and you have kids, it becomes much more difficult because you have other responsibilities. So if you start early, you make those mistakes, you learn from them. By the time you hit 30, you're good to go.
Awesome. So guys, start younger. If you've already started, if you want to start now and you're already old, there's always a way for everyone.
Yes.
I think it's all about doing sacrifice as well, and making sure that and you communicate to the people around you, to the people that depend on you, because some people just want to take the decision on their own, and then when they get trapped, now they probably stuck and they don't know what to do. I think it's also important for the older people that maybe wants to go into a specific journey to communicate to people around them so that they understand that, hey man, the money is not gonna come as usual.
Exactly.
So the next question is, how long do you work per day?
I think probably most of maybe 20 hours.
So most of your time is work.
Most of my time is work. Because even if I'm on WhatsApp, I'm still working.
I'm still working.
Either I'm networking. If I'm not networking, I'm talking to the guys that I work with. Every time.
It's I'm just always on. Constant work day. So, who is your greatest inspiration? I guess it's your mom, or who inspired you?
I would say my mom, definitely my mom. She has been that inspiration. She's a very strong woman. Very, very strong woman. She's one of those inspirations for me.
Awesome. And what makes you happy?
Knowing that I've lived my purpose and knowing that I've done what I was supposed to do in this lifetime, and I made life better for the next person who's coming after me.
Wow. I mean, most of the guys that I've interviewed, they all conclude with this, like legacy. What do I leave that other people will take over into it? That is really great. And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I've taken over Africa, becoming. We want to become an expert in entrepreneurship education. An expert in entrepreneurship education. Anything that happens in terms of entrepreneurship education, we are the go-to guys.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. You have it. Look for Andile in 10 years. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to share your story with our viewers. And thanks, guys, for watching. We'll keep you in touch with more updates. You can watch our Facebook page. The link will be down below with short clips that we're going to produce of inspirational moments and that we have with other guests. And then see you soon. Cheers. Bye.